You're literally getting pulled along.
Check that out. Morning all, Paz here. I'm out for a squid with Uncle Matt on one of the few calm mornings we get in this horrible stretch of weather. I got here a bit early, usual insomnia, not able to sleep, so decided to launch from South Beach. I'm on the Red Devil because it's a lot easier when I'm squidding with Uncle Matt. He doesn't have a pedal kayak, so it's a lot easier for me to just cast and stay with him rather than troll around. I'll do another trolling thing on the Hobie, but it's all about casting today. Just got the one rod, keep it simple. That's a fish. Fish in the ocean, who knew? Yeah, just keeping it simple with the one rod. I'm just paddling out to hopefully a weed bank, cast around a little bit till Uncle Matt rocks up, and we shall see where we end up. I'm actually not going to be doing too much commentary today, at least until when Uncle Matt rocks up. I'm just going to fish, just have a bit of catch up, bit of a yarn. But until then, I'll keep you guys company. I've just got my usual Shimano Sophia flash boost. I wasn't sure about the conditions today, so I've gone to 3.5 instead of my usual 3.0. I'm going to see if anything's around. It's getting to be that time where the squid are starting to get a bit bigger. However, the weather we've had over the past few days has probably stirred up the bank a little bit. Visibility might be a bit poor. The weed banks may have shifted. So that's all I can do to really just head out and see where I'm at. I've actually brought a little bit of a trick to see if it'll work. I've got one of my dive lights, which is almost out of battery. So I've got one of my dive lights and I'm just going to put it down on a rope and see if the light attracts any squid close enough for the kayak to be nabbed. Failing that, I'll just wait for sunrise like I normally do, and hopefully the squid window will kick in then. There's virtually no wind. It's quite smooth. Swell's a bit lumpy, so it always makes me a bit nervous when I'm in the Devil, seeing as it's not as stable as the Hobie. But I'm out here doing my favourite type of fishing, so we should be quite good, I think. Anyway, I want to stop talking. I'm just going to keep the camera rolling today. I got a few spare batteries and whatnot, just to see if we can rustle anything up. That's enough of me yakking. Let's get into it. Alright, lights in. It's not very light, but alright. Set the drag. Nice and light. Current's kind of pulling me the opposite way as to where I usually go. If I'm more casting, I'll paddle up shore a bit. We're on. First squid of the morning. Oh, did I drop him? I think I did. That is really small. Oh, something on the surface. So much for the squid getting bigger. A lot of people wonder why I use a net. A couple of comments in my previous squidding videos. it's just easy for the mess, really. There isn't too much more I can say other than I just don't want to make a mess in the kayak. Always get the jig back in the water, one rod or not. You never know what's going to be mucking around down there. There you go. Just a nice basic squid. Also got my esky, so dry bag for you, my friend. I think it might be the bottom. Oh no. What the hell? He's hanging on to it. He was hanging on to it. He wasn't even hooked. Well, you know what they say, persistence is a virtue. Unless you're going to be fried up in a pan, in which case it's probably a hindrance. I'm actually kind of surprised that they're not that big. I mean, this one's perfect base size. Monumentally pissed off too. That's a couple. And both have happened when I've haven't been paying attention. Go figure. Just goes to show with your squid, always have a jig in the water. Always. If you've caught one, chuck it straight back in. Because at the risk of sounding seedy, the motion of the ocean is often enough to shift the jig enough for a squid to come in for a closer look. And if there are other squid in the area that are that bloody aggressive, they're going to have a crack at it. One thing I will say for all the wind and everything like that is that when it shifts the bottom, the weed's not as anchored, I guess you could say. What the hell? No f***ing way. Excuse the swearing, but I have just put that in while I was unwrapping my rod tip, and something has smashed it. That light must be working. They are hanging around at something fierce. There you go. That's a bit better. Ah, thanks, mate. Definitely a bit better. As far as the squidlies go. Well, as you can see Uncle Matt in the distance, I'm going to stop my commentary part of the video here. So thanks for coming along with us. I'll probably add a voiceover if we end up doing anything else. I'm just going to have it running. Just going to have a bit of a fun session here. Filming's great and showing you guys is great, but I do like to have those sessions where I'm just chilling. So, until then, see you soon. Little did I know, the session was just beginning. I got a hit pretty much straight away as a squid smacked the jig on the drop. Clearly, the two tiddlers from earlier were a bit of an anomaly, because these June versions are considerably bigger than those caught in my last early autumn session. As the cloudy dawn unfolded, we drifted over weed patches, flicking about. My next strike came, and this one not only pulled some string, it took both the kayak and myself for a bit of a ride. Whoa! This one's pulling some string.
Pulling your boat.
I know.
You're literally getting pulled along.
Might even be a cuddly. Afraid that it hasn't reached the surface yet. Whoa! Nah, it's a squid. Yeah! That is a decent one. I can't pull him.
Holy crap.
Holy sh... Big boof out of a squid too. Ugh. The squid was huge and unhappy, deciding to protest its capture by graffitiing my kayak.
Did it get you?
Right across the front of the kayak too. Well, I'll tell you what, the meal's sorted. Oh, mate. That is going to require a bit of... Check that out. The beast of a squid came in at a hood length of 32 centimetres. The largest squid I've ever caught in FREO waters. My session was pretty much made, but a missed opportunity reminded me that it wasn't over yet. At this point, we were entering that squid prime time, a period of time where the sun is rising and the visual squid are at their most ravenous. They were there in numbers as well, as proven by one slamming my jig as I tried to sort out my latest catch. I say it all the time, maximise your jig's time in the water. I've been lucky with consistent hookups this session, but sometimes a small 5-minute squid window is all you have. Make the most of your opportunities, and I intended to, as the squid were definitely there to feed. You are joking. One thing that I'm finding a bit weird this session is just how willing the squid are to hit a jig just below the surface. I've had 2 big hits now where the jig has been very close to the yak. Not complaining though. Lost him. If you lose a squid, rest your jig in the strike zone for a few seconds. It may be enough to entice another strike, or to get a follower to replace the missed one. On again. At this point, dinner had been upgraded to a banquet. This one came from a cast to the opposite side of the yak. My reasoning was that we drifted past the weed bank where I'd caught a couple.
so a quick cast back may reveal the location of any stragglers. With quite a few squid in my dry bag already, I'd lost count. I knew I was under the limit, but I also didn't want to keep every squid I caught. I decided to let this and a few other smaller specimens go. Uncle Matt and I had drifted a fair way, so we decided to paddle north for a bit to some other weed banks. Of course, I had my jig trolling behind me. My drag was light, but the noise of my jig being stolen still surprised me.
Whoop! I think I hit the bottom.
That's another ginger.
Actually,
Bottom?
nah.
That's a huge one.
I did have really light drag though.
I know, wait.
Oh, I think he let go. No, he didn't. Oh no. Potential. See? Oh, missed him.
This was shaping up to be one of those awesome sessions we talk about for ages, and a fantastic view to boot.
I'm not saying anything. You what? Well, it's larger than the average ones.
Remember I said that the squid today were bolder than usual? Check this out. My line was wrapped around my rod tip, so the jig was hanging about 30 centimeters under the surface. A squid came right up to the kayak and grabbed it. I've never seen them that aggressive before. However, with the rod tip wrapped, the squid got off quickly. I wasn't worried though, I had more than enough to make up for it. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. Time and weather led us back to the shore. My camera went flat before I could spread out my catch, but I ended up with 13 great squid. They weren't small either, capped off with that absolute beast, the biggest squid I've ever caught at FREO. My white jig had been absolutely mangled. It was actually brand new before this session. It looks like I have a new lucky jig. Anyway, thanks for coming along with me on this fantastic squid session. I now have enough food and bait to last me a while. Subscribe and stay tuned. I have a few ideas on how to use them. This is Paz, wishing you fair winds and tight lines. Cheers and see you in the next one.